So for our last session of Trends and Insights of the day, last but not least, a huge welcome to our loyal gold sponsor, Michael McCartan. Thank you. Area Vice President, EMEA from Ideas, who's going to discuss the game-changing impacts of revenue management systems in hospitality. Thanks, Michael. Thank you.
Clearly, a lot of people have already invested in revenue management systems. That's why it's standing room only. Yes, so let me go back here. So I always like to think of the property management system as the heart of a hotel tech stack, and the revenue management system as the brain. And we all know that property management systems, the heart, has been universally accepted for decades. You'd be hard-pressed to find a hotel anywhere in the world that doesn't use a property management system. The same can't be said for revenue management systems, the brain, which is quite surprising. So clearly, a lot of hotel operators are grappling with the question, is it really worth the time, effort, and money to invest in a revenue management system? And obviously, from my perspective, the answer is yes, but I will share some insights and thoughts and some statistics that back up this claim. So hopefully you go away with good reason to, if you aren't already using a revenue management system, good reason to justify the investment. So already a lot of hotel companies have already invested in revenue management technology. It goes back several decades already. It's nothing new. But when compared to the adoption of property management systems, it's been lagging behind. But actually, we've seen an increase in the adoption since the pandemic. And statistics from, this is a Skift report from their Global Hotel Benchmarking Report, actually claims that 15 million rooms are now influenced by revenue management technology. That is something like 50% of all the inventory globally. So clearly, the message is resonating with people, and the investments that are needed are being made into the technology, into revenue management technology. But the scope and breadth of that technology varies. Some of it more sophisticated, some of it less sophisticated. But I think based on this statistic, we've reached a tipping point where if you are a hotel anywhere in the world, the chances of you actually competing with a hotel that is using revenue management technology is most likely the case. So why has the adoption of revenue management suddenly accelerated? And I'll share some insights with you, five key points, 5 key takeaways on why we believe this is happening. The first is forecasting. The foundation of any revenue management system is the forecast. It allows you to, and allows hoteliers to get insights into the demand that's coming through into their hotel and plan accordingly. It can help with their pricing, obviously. It can help with their marketing efforts. It can even help with their operational efforts. But more than that, it actually enhances the value of the property. So through better insights, through better planning, through better pricing, it actually, and this is a statistic from a company called AMC, and they did some research on various companies and said, to establish what the impact of better forecasting is on the hotel's profitability. And they concluded that if a company can increase their forecast accuracy by 3%, it actually drives 2% increase in profitability on the bottom line. So it's a substantial increase in not only efficiency, but actually the profitability of that operation. The second thing to consider is the time saving, the automation. And there are 2 aspects to the automation. Obviously, we all know that in a hotel, and particularly in a revenue management environment, there's a lot of manual effort that needs to go into collating information, cleansing the information, analyzing the information, and then doing something about that, actioning that information. So there's huge amounts of redundant and repetitive tasks that a revenue management system will take away from the revenue management or the commercial organization. But more significantly, it can actually improve. This is a study by Zurich University. So not only does it save time, but actually Zurich University studied the impact of revenue management systems that require manual intervention versus systems that are fully automated. In other words, the decisions get pushed automatically. So the amount of human intervention and moderation that is required, they wanted to compare the difference. And they concluded that if you're using a revenue management system, so this is not a hotel that's actually doing things manually, but actually using some form of technology. But if they are using that system just to recommend price, and then they still having to go in to evaluate whether that price is acceptable or not, they concluded that the revenue capture only improves by 1 to 2%. So all of the opportunities, because of the lag in pushing the decision out into the marketplace, are lost. They also concluded that the divergence, the humans, when they analyzed the data too carefully, actually diverged. The divergence from the recommendation was so significant that any impact was actually lost. So compared to a fully automated system where the decision is made, the decision is pushed, tested in the marketplace, and then fed back into the closed loop, the revenue capture improved by 36%. So this means that 36% of opportunities that would otherwise would have been lost were identified and captured and drove additional revenues for the hotel. So significant improvement. And basically, the conclusion of this report saying that if you are choosing a technology solution that requires human intervention, you're better off just leaving your rates completely static, because the impact, even though you're using technology to evaluate and find the opportunities, if you're having to manually approve them, you may as well just have static rates, because the opportunity is lost by the time you actually action them. The third category is length of stay. And this is quite interesting, because a lot of in a human environment, people often just look at single-day pricing. They don't understand the full impact of different length of stays, the demand of different length of stays. And I said forecasting is obviously a key ingredient into a good revenue management system, but that you can drill down even further. A key component of a good revenue management system is one that understands not just the demand for a single day, but for multiple days as well. So how much 2 business, 3 night stay business, 4 night stay business is coming through the pipe, and that allows you to better manage that. And by doing that, it's not just about price, but inventory management. And I think I've got a quick example here. So if we take a hotel room that has a capacity of 150 rooms, and you start looking at the demand for a typical week, Monday to Friday, obviously on a Monday you'll see that there's less demand, and then you start looking at the 2-night length of stay, staying Monday through to Tuesday, et cetera, et cetera. And when you add up all of that demand across each of the 5 days in the week, you'll see that the Tuesday, the Wednesday, and the Thursday, I think, are over capacity. So there's unconstrained demand. There's more demand for this hotel than it can handle. So when faced with this situation, if you're doing it completely manually, the revenue manager will say, oh, clearly I want to reject some of that one-night business on the busy Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and I want to start putting some length of stay restrictions in. And they're doing that, they're applying those length of stay restrictions just based on gut feel. There's no science or additional insights that are telling them whether they should put a 2-night length of stay restriction on a 3-night length of stay restriction, and which business they should reject. So if we look at that situation, assuming that this was a human doing it, they would put a length of stay restriction on the Monday. So on the Tuesday, I'm only going to accept 3-night and 4-night length of stays on the Tuesday, the Wednesday, etc. I will accept some 1-night stays on Monday and Thursday. And when you add up all of that demand, you're now accepting only business. You're not over capacity. You're accepting all of the business. And what you'll see is that the number of rooms sold is 620 in this scenario, just applying gut instinct and intuition around how to control that inventory. If you leave it to AI, who now understands the full demand of the 2, 3-night, 4-night length of stays that potentially could be coming to your hotel, and they apply a scientific approach, so it's applying the right restrictions on the right days, the situation is completely different. So same business, same week, same opportunity, but now, rather than a human applying the restrictions, these restrictions are automatically applied by the machine, by the revenue management system, and you end up with 720 rooms rather than the 600 and whatever it was. And the net result is basically a 40% increase, a 16% increase in RevPAR, $40 in this case. So this is just for a single week. When you start applying and maximizing this across the whole year, you can understand the additional revenue gains that can be achieved. The fourth point in support of a revenue management system is your group business. If you work in a hotel, busy MICE hotel, you will know that your salespeople are very keen to build a nice base of business for you, and they'll do so with all the best intention. They'll go out and secure deals, but what they may not necessarily be doing, or know that they're doing, is understanding the revenue that they're displacing from transient business that will be coming to the hotel anyway. Maybe that business hasn't materialized yet, you can't see it coming, but the revenue management system, through the good forecasting techniques, will know that that business is coming. And if you apply that against the displacement analysis calculation within the RMS, it will tell those salespeople, at the very least, what price they should charge for that group business, considering all of the ancillary spend. So it's a complete analysis, not just on the room nights, but on the total cost of the group, and recommend the minimum price that you should charge for the group, or alternatively recommend alternative dates that you could offer to that client and say, this week is going to cost you X, but actually if you stay a week before, a week later, you'll get a significant discount, because that's where I don't have the demand. So it becomes a valuable tool in maximizing the opportunity and not displacing transient revenue that you would otherwise you would be receiving anyway. And the fourth reason for using a revenue management system, and this relates back to that first point about the increased profitability through better forecasting, but it's through profitability. This was actually a survey done by Ideas, where we went out and interviewed our customers and asked them about the benefits that they're seeing, and 33% of them said that they're seeing a 10% or more increase in profitability, bottom line profitability. So again, it's not just about top line revenue, it's about profitability, because you're running a much more efficient organization. You're taking valuable business that it essentially falls down to the bottom line. And in conclusion, I'd just like to, when I first started, it was about 10 years ago, in the revenue management space, I spoke to a hotel investor, an owner of hotels, and he was a strong proponent of revenue management systems. And he said to me, when an owner, such as myself, is considering how I'm going to drive profitability and asset value at my property, I have many things that I can consider. I can consider improvements, upgrades within the space itself. I can add a pool. I can do lots of other things. But that requires lots of capital, lots of expenditure, and the ROIs that typically you get from those sort of capital-intensive investments are much lower than a revenue management solution. He concluded that the most effective and most immediate investment that a hotel owner can make in improving their profitability is to invest in a revenue management system. So I'll leave you with that. Like with the previous speaker, there are a few of us from Ideas in the room, so we'd be happy to, if you aren't already using a revenue management system, or you want to improve your outputs through superior technology, then please come and talk to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Any questions? Or you can grab him later, no problem at all. Thank you so much, Michael. Great. So we have a coffee break at 4 o'clock, sponsored by Profit Room. Before then, there are still sessions going on in the Leadership Hub and the Interactive Forum, or you can get an extended break, whatever you like. The coffee break is 4 till 4:30, and then we're back in the main room for the final sessions of the day. Thank you so much.